Facebook again. I've been putting out a few videos lately. Oh, I don't know if that started. I'm on live on Facebook again. Been putting out a few videos lately. My last one did pretty well, about 3,000 to about 3,000 viewers now. But the question is, enough of all the small talk. The question is, can Hillary Clinton lose to Donald Trump? That's the question. Can Hillary lose to Donald Trump? A lot of people would like to believe no, certainly supporters of Hillary. In the interest of transparency, yes, I am a supporter of Bernie and a radio talk show host, and I do some TV interviews. But right now, I'm just going to try to analyze this thing. Can Hillary lose to Donald Trump? I say yes, Hillary can very well lose to Donald Trump. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons. But first, let me start here. I'm from the great state of Maryland, the wonderful state of Maryland. What do you need to know about Maryland? A couple of things. Democrats should not lose in Maryland. Maryland is about 1/3 African American. Okay, so there are a lot of black voters here. Overwhelmingly, 2-to-1 registered Democrats in Maryland. Democrats shouldn't lose. We have a Republican governor right now. A while back, we lost Bob Ehrlich, who I knew. Bob Ehrlich was the governor of Maryland. He did 1 term. And how did that happen? Because we ran a very, very dear woman by the name of Kathleen Kennedy Townsend. And she was a very poor candidate. And in the state of Maryland, the bluest of blue states that the Democrats should never lose, Kathleen Kennedy Townsend lost in Maryland because she was a poor candidate and she ran a poor campaign. We had Anthony Brown, African American, running in the state of Maryland, lost because he was not a very good candidate and he ran a very poor campaign and he lost. A black candidate ran in what is generally referred to as far as a percentage of African Americans, I believe we are 3rd, around 30% in the United States. And an African American lost. Why? Because he ran a very, very poor campaign, and he was a very, very much an establishment candidate, went by the establishment rules, played the establishment game, and he did what the establishment does very, very well. He lost. If you have any questions about how good the establishment is at losing, just refer to Al Gore. People say he won. Yes, he did win, but it shouldn't have been that close. Number one, it shouldn't have been close enough for them to take it. See John Kerry. Please, the establishment Democrats are very good at losing. That's a whole nother video, but we won't get into that right now. The question at hand is this: can Hillary Clinton lose? Yes, she can. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why. Let's start here. Hillary Clinton loses ground. If we look at the last 2 times that Hillary Clinton ran for president, she started against Barack Obama and also against Bernie Sanders. Both times Hillary started 50, 60 points ahead? Hillary started with an insurmountable lead. Her opponents should not have even been close. The problem with Hillary is this: the more people see her, the less they like her. The more people see her, the less likely they are to vote for her. Can she lose to Trump? Hillary, right now, Real Clear Politics. Here's what Real Clear Politics has. They're May 1st. Hillary Clinton was up 6.5 points over Trump. If you round it off, she was 47-41, like 47.3 to 40.8. Rounded off 47-41. Real Clear Politics had Bernie Sanders 52 to 38. He was up 13.5, more than double Hillary's lead over Trump. Couple of reasons, but the bottom line is, we'll start with that. Hillary Clinton loses ground. Bernie Sanders wasn't really planning on running. I don't know if you know this. PDA, Progressive Democrats of America, basically, yanked his chain. They begged Bernie. They said, we need someone in there. A lot of people don't know this. PDA, Progressive Democrats of America, great organization, said to Bernie, we need someone in there arguing progressive values. Bernie, will you please do it? Bernie acquiesced and said, okay. Bernie ran. PDA got Bernie to run. The idea was not that Bernie would win. They didn't even feel that Bernie would have a chance, that he'd even come close. But he was running against Hillary Clinton. And when you juxtapose progressive positions with Hillary's very conservative Democratic positions, conservative Democrat, moderate Republican positions, in the Democratic primary, Hillary's numbers are never going to look good against that. That's what happened with her against Barack Obama. So, number one, Hillary, if you even look at her Senate campaign, Hillary loses ground. Right now, she's only up 6.5 points above Donald Trump. Hillary needs about a 60-point lead based on what happened in 2008 and what happened recently. 6.5, she's going downhill. So let's start there. Number one, Hillary Clinton loses ground. Number two, we've got to accept something. Hillary you can't get any more establishment than Hillary. Hillary is the ultimate establishment, the ultimate insider establishment, the ultimate institution candidate. I waited my turn, it's my turn, that kind of stuff. This is not, 2016 is not the year to be an establishment candidate, and I will go one further. Look at 2008. 2008, who won? An establishment candidate. Barack Obama may have eventually become an establishment candidate to some extent, but in 2008, he was not an establishment candidate. He was anything. He had been in the Senate for 100 days. I would argue that since the crash of 2008, it hasn't been in to be an establishment candidate. He ran against Mitt Romney, again, ultimate establishment guy, blew him out. He ran against two people who had been establishment for the last, 40 years. He blew them both out. 2008, 2012, what happened to the real establishment candidate? And in 2012, you could say Barack Obama certainly was an establishment candidate because he was the president, but not nearly in comparison to a Mitt Romney whose father ran for president, who came from old money. He was an aristocrat, and you know what they say about aristocrats. The best part of them they're like a potato. The best part of them is in the ground. He could claim nobility for generations back, right? That certainly is establishment, and I'm going to say 2008, 2012, 2016, not the time to be establishment ever since the crash. Hillary's establishment, and let me say this. What happened to the establishment candidates that ran against Trump in the primaries? The more establishment they were, the quicker they went out. People didn't want a sniff of establishment candidates in the GOP. What happened to Jeb Bush? He was gone. I mean, this guy was not even in there. It was a joke that he was in there. So the idea that an establishment candidate is going to just trounce and beat Trump, I'm awful wary of that. Number two reason Hillary can lose, because Trump easily dispatched with the establishment candidates, because voters are not inclined to accept the establishment candidates. A friend of mine, Anish Shavani, wrote a great article. It's over at salon.com, I believe. But basically, the premise being this, and this is why I think Hillary can lose, and why an establishment candidate is not what the Democratic Party should do right now against Trump. Basically, the establishment, as it were, both Republican and Democrat, over the last 35 years have thrown the working class under the bus. They have wiped out the working class. Now they're sounding the alarm and saying, "Oh my gosh, this madman Trump is here. You've got to have us come save you." So it's basically, in effect, it's like an arsonist setting the house on fire and saying, "You've got to get me to come save you from this fiery inferno." I don't think that's going to work. And I think because Hillary's so much of an establishment candidate, and because people on both sides of the aisle are sick and tired of the establishment, I think Hillary can. And I don't want to say I think she will lose, but I think it's quite possible that she can lose. So that's number two. She's too establishment. Number three, which is what we could call this 2A. Hillary is reaching out to the establishment for Republican votes. I could go on. I did an entire video about that has to do with Hillary's vision, Hillary and the conservative Democrats, the Democratic Leadership Council, and their vision and their intent to remake the Democratic Party in a manner that the establishment conservatives, Republicans, and the establishment Democrats come together and they remake the Democratic Party as the party of the establishment, the Wall Streeters, both the Wall Street conservatives who have been rejected by the Republicans and the Wall Street Democrats who have been rejected by the progressives. They come together, they reconstitute the Democratic Party in the old third way type manner, and they come up with so that's their plan. Whether it'll work is a whole other story, but the establishment Democrats, the conservative Democrats such as Hillary, feel that they can reach out to the establishment Republicans and they can remake the party. That just might not work. A couple of things. Hillary and her people, if you check the newspapers, and if you check online, you'll see that Hillary, there's everywhere. I've been predicting this everywhere. I'm predicting it because I was told it was happening by a very high-ranking politician, but who was unhappy about it. But at any rate, Hillary's people are reaching out to the conservatives to bring them into the fold, right? They're reaching out to the establishment conservatives, the Wall Street conservatives. Now, the only people that hate the establishment conservatives more than the progressives are the Republican base. You see, the establishment conservatives are the most disliked political group in America today. Nobody likes them. The progressives hate them. Their own base hates them. Everybody hates them. And the Clinton people are going to reach out to them to build a coalition. That can cost you the election, my friend. That is not a very wise political move, but it is what they do. That's what the Democratic Leadership Council worked towards. That's what Hillary Clinton's people do, and that's the plan. To go after the establishment conservatives who nobody likes, who nobody really wants except them, and feel that we're going to have all the money, we're going to have all the power. Problem is, you might not have the votes. They got a lot of money, they got a lot of power, they've got the big corporations, but they don't have people. You're going to have to manipulate the voting machines or do something if you're going to bring in an unpopular group like the Wall Street establishment conservatives and win, particularly when the Wall Street establishment Democrats aren't very popular themselves. Okay, so that's number 3. Hillary's reaching out to the establishment, or 2A, as I said. Hillary's reaching out to establishment Republicans for Republican votes. She'll get a lot of money. She'll get more Wall Street money, she'll get more oil money, more corporate money, but what she might not get is more votes. What she may do is run more people away, reject more people. How about this? Next. Number 4, what could Hillary lose to Donald Trump? Number 4, the conservative Democrats always reach out to modern Republicans. Well, I've already hit that. That was how about 2 through 4, so we'll go to 5. Because I don't want to be too long. So how about 12 minutes? We want to keep this 15 minutes or so. Hillary Clinton has repelled the progressives like Reed propels roaches. I mean, you talk about executing a flawless strategy to lose the general election. This is one for the ages. Let me tell you why. What do you do? What is the first rule? What's the first thing you have to do if you want to win? You must consolidate power within your own party. You must unify your party. You got to get your base out. You got to get your people. This is not, you don't need a PhD in political science to understand this. This is political science 101. What do you do to win? You got to get your people to the voting booth. That's why there's rock the vote, hip hop the vote, all this stuff, buses going from senior citizens' homes to the polls. Why? You got to get people to the polls. You must unify your party. You've got to coordinate actually the transportation to the polls. You got to get your base out. The Clinton people are doing the opposite. They are infuriating their base. I would say in the Clintons' near flawless strategy to lose the election, probably one of the most effective things they're doing is instituting a plan called Correct the Record by David Brock. So what is this? What is Correct the Record? David Brock et al., so Super PAC, Hillary Super PAC guy. Keep in mind, this is a guy who was a conservative, who was a Republican attack dog, who attacked Hillary. David Brock attacked Anita Hill. He was a conservative attack dog during the 90s, attacking the Clintons all the time. So Hillary's got him now running with some super PAC, and they are one of the things that they're doing now. They're online, and they have this organization called Correct the Record, where they have their online. We call them the Clinton trolls, and they are attempting to manipulate the internet information machine. They're online and they're telling people, giving people information, allegedly positive information about Hillary, and correcting online information about Hillary. So why is that so foolish? Number one, because people want to feel free. It's like 1984. I'm a person, I go online all the time. For those of you who watch me or follow me a little bit, I'm online all the time. I'm doing I'm putting memes out. I'm making snide little comments. But I'd like to believe that I'm just freely interacting with people who support other candidates. But now it's like 1984. Now I don't know. Is this a person? Is this a Clinton troll? Is this a paid person who's just playing games with me? Is this someone who actually believes what they're saying? I don't know. And here's what I think to myself. If you will do this online, what are you going to do if you have the NSA? What are you going to do if you have the FBI and the CIA? If you are so thin-skinned and so authoritarian that you cannot even accept that people will go online and, God forbid, say something that hurts your feelings. If you are playing the NBA or the National Hockey League, or you're an actor or you're an actress, look, that's the way it is. I go on national TV. I do radio, and you know what? Sometimes people go on. I've had to block people because they didn't like something that I said on television or on my radio show, and they called me names, threatened me, cursed me, you name it. I've had it all happen, and I just block people. I would never consider such an authoritarian move as hiring some attack dog to attack people who had the unmitigated gall, who had the disgusting effrontery to actually voice their personal opinion. If it was a conservative, I've had conservatives attack me, I've had progressives attack me, you name it. But they've got a right to do that. This is America. This is free. If you disagree with me and you're a conservative, I would fight for your right to do that. I would not put forth some David Brock and a bunch of attack trolls to try and, quote, correct the record. So I think in Hillary Clinton's near flawlessly executed plan to lose the election to Donald Trump, that probably correct the record and paying millions of dollars for Clinton trolls to troll the Bernie websites, to troll those who, God forbid, dare to oppose the Queen, because that's the way it comes across. It really comes across like, how dare you oppose the Queen? And it comes across that way so much so now that that basically everyone is suspect. If you are online and you are a supporter of Clinton, you're suspect. To me anyway, and most everyone I know who's a Bernie or even a Trump supporter. They're suspect. Well, is this person really a person, or is this some, paid Clinton troll? So the assumption is always going to be, if you're a supporter of Hillary Clinton, that you're a paid Clinton troll. And it reinforces the belief that Hillary Clinton is thin-skinned, that she's angry, that she wants retribution against those who dare to oppose her, right? That she has royal prerogatives, that she's an authoritarian and darn near some kind of a monarch. It really comes across bad. So, number 5, Hillary has repelled progressives like raid repels roaches. This is not really wise. So, can Hillary lose? Hillary Clinton and her surrounding advisors are very much planning on casting aside progressives and on coalescing with the Wall Street establishment Republicans and winning this thing and beating Trump. And I suspect there may be one minor flaw in their plan, and that is they may not just have the votes to do it, and they may lose to Trump. My name's Garland Nixon. I'm on WPFW 89.3 FM in Washington, D.C. every Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. I do, as I say, in the interest of transparency, I guess I'm one of the only progressives ever to go on Fox News, but I go on Fox News fairly regularly, at least every week or so, and do my political analyzing. And say what I have to say. I say what I say what I believe. Maybe that's why I'm not on Fox News more than every week or so. But at any rate, thank you. If you want to get in touch with me, it's garlandn@gmail.com, @GarlandNixon on Twitter. If you want me, and let me recommend a show. It's by Lee Camp. It's called Lee Camp Redacted on RTTV. Great show. Follow Lee Camp. He is a brilliant, brilliant guy. He's funny. I've been a Young Turks guy, but, lately they've been, you've got to vote for Hillary no matter what. I've got some real questions about that. I understand the strategy. Can I say for sure that I'm going to vote for Hillary? Right now, things are looking kind of bleak, and they're not getting better. I think associating with David Brock and the Hillary trolls are kind of for a lot of people the last straw. They're not going to get the young vote. Progressives, that's just about done, and it's going to be kind of hard to win the states they need to win. We may be looking at President Trump. That's possible. The Democrats do have an option. They could nominate Bernie. Real Clear Politics says Bernie's numbers are looking good, but I have a funny feeling, based on some statements made by Ed Rendell and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that this thing is already done. The decision is made. Basically, I suspect when you get to the when you get to the convention, Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Ed Rendell will be wearing "I'm with her" jerseys on. They'll be wearing Hillary. We're certainly, it's the equivalent of, watching a referee game, the San Antonio Spurs in Oklahoma City, and when the Spurs get there, the refs have on Oklahoma City jerseys. Well, that's what it's going to be like at the convention when Bernie gets there. The leaders of the DNC are going to have on "I'm with her" jerseys. So we know that game is over. But I think Hillary Clinton's brilliant, and I think she's executing a brilliant strategy to lose the election in November, and I suspect that she may be successful. Garland Nixon, thank you for listening. Share the video if you get a chance. Peace. I'm out.